Shalom everyone. This is going to be a quick video before I leave to do some other stuff in the city. Look, often we have questions like why does God take so long? For example, when Jesus waited 4 days before going to Bethany, Lazarus was already dead. You see, dead for 4 days already. And people are asking Jesus, why didn't you come earlier? Or let's look at something else, the Apostle Paul. The Lord made clear that Apostle Paul should go to the Gentiles. That would mean he has to go to Rome, because Rome was the world's capital at the time. You see, God you see, after the Hebrews in Jerusalem tried to condemn him, the Lord made clear that he will testify on God's behalf in Rome. Couldn't the Most High just send an angel down with a chariot and escort the Apostle Paul to Italy, and then he would descend down in a heavenly chariot and he would preach the lovely message of the gospel to the pagans in Rome? Couldn't God have done that? Yes, he could have easily have done that. Instead, Paul was arrested. He was molested. With molested, I don't mean sexually molested, but he was beaten publicly. After that, there was a conspiracy of 40 Hebrew men that they vowed and sworn that they wouldn't eat nor drink, that they would have killed Paul. So they were putting their own lives at line to murder Paul. There was a Roman centurion there was a Roman captain who had the authority upon the 600 troops of the Romans that were stationed in Jerusalem. And that Roman captain, that military leader, he noticed the conspiracy. Why? Because a nephew of Paul, which was the son of Paul's sister, heard about the conspiracy of the 40 men, and he warned the Roman military leader. So the military leader commands 2 centurions to get 200 soldiers on the horse and others with spears to capture the Apostle Paul. Paul is brought to the governor of, at the time, Syria. And the governor of Syria was known as a cruel man, Felix. Paul had to appear before Felix. Then Paul had to go back to King Agrippa, who was also quite anti-Christians. Agrippa also had killed the apostle James, who's called Santiago in Spain. So, and they tried to murder Paul multiple times. Still, Paul had to appeal as a Roman citizen upon the emperor, and Paul was shipped to Malta. At Malta, he was rejected by the local population. He was bitten by snakes. He almost died. Then he was shipped to certain cities in Italy before arriving at Rome. Now think about it, guys. Why didn't God just... Why did the Lord work through all those difficulties? Why? It brings more glory to God. The goal that the Most High has with your life is to magnify Himself. And to magnify Himself implies that He has to show Himself wiser and more mighty than the plans of wicked people. You see? If God would have escorted Paul within a few minutes from Jerusalem to Rome, with the technology of that day, it would take about 2 weeks to arrive at Rome. But God could have done it in a few minutes. Why didn't the Lord do it? The Lord allowed Apostle Paul to go through all of those things. He allowed Apostle Paul to make fatal mistakes. Why? Just to show Himself and to glorify Himself in delivering Paul and in guiding the way. And that's what you need to accept. You see, God is not bound by boredom. You see, we often want things to go as like in a machine. You press button A, that happens. You press button B, that happens. Often we want life to go that way. We want our relationships to go that way. We want our finances to go that way. No, God is not bound by boredom. You see, if, for example, sometimes things go like this. You arrive, you leave the house, and with your car, but your car breaks down. Now you need to go to a mechanic to fix your car. So the mechanic comes by, picks you in a car up, and they go to the mechanic shop where the mechanic is checking out what's going on with your car. The mechanic uh, has a nephew that helps him at the shop, and that nephew then hears that you are a Christian, and he sees that you have something with you, and the nephew goes to high school, and in high school he talks about it, and because the nephew talks about it, someone becomes interested in the Christian faith, and that individual begins to read the Bible, and within a few years that individual has become a powerful preacher and is reaching thousands of people. But anyway, you are not aware of it. After a delay of 5 hours, your car is fixed and you move on. But you are not aware that when your car broke down, yes, something went wrong. Yes, it wasn't pleasant. Yes, your schedule was messed up. Okay, that's true, that's a fact. However, you were not aware that the Lord was working behind the scenes to fulfill his purpose through your life. You see, that's it. God wants to fulfill his purpose through your life. And times when things goes wrong, trials, tribulation, persecutions are all part of it, you see. Just look at the history of the saints, people. It was quite bloody, quite violent, with a lot of pain and hurt. However, all that together works out to magnify the Most High, because it's when God is magnified that people are safe. Why? Often we magnify illusions, we magnify the government, we magnify our problems instead of magnifying the Most High. So God then will use those problems and those issues that we idolize, he will use them to glorify himself by proving that those problems are nothing to him. You see? Because truth being told, often we worship and we magnify problems. Often we magnify problems and possible hurt that doesn't even exist. See? But God will use all of that for his purpose. Okay? So I don't know which trial, tribulation, persecution you're going through. I don't care if you contributed to it or you're just the victim in it. Doesn't matter. God is working out his purpose through you. And that's all that matters. When you're saved, understand that's all that matters, that God is working out his purpose through you. All the time you had to wait and all the times people were raging against you, it does not matter at all. Just trust the Most High. This being said, you all, Shalom.